I think we're live. Yes. Okay. Music. Music. Turn it down on my headphones so I can hear other things. I'm just gonna be playing stuff probably from the built-in library today because I don't feel like looking around with stuff. But today, yeah, okay, we got everything. We do have everything. Cool. Okay. So, what I want to do, I have this. Actually, I should open the full-size thing, triple leg assembly. Come here, you. So I have this thing called a Gnomon Axis Helper that I've been working on a little bit. The original design was by Loop, which is a robotics controls group based out of Portland. A whole bunch of super nice guys. The guy that designed it was super stoked to see that someone else was extending the design, so I'm still working on it. Major tweaks since the last time I mentioned this. These go through now. That was original to their design, and I didn't think they carried over to mine, so that's been rectified at the suggestion of oh my god, I'm blanking on his name. I apologize. Thank you, gentleman at Loop, who did this original design. It's really cool, and I'm glad that I got to extend it, and eventually this will go on Thingiverse and be freely available and all that fun stuff. Yeah, these go through now. The magnets are slightly better placed. I have better interference fits. It's like, oh, I'm not gonna bother evaluating the interference fit, but they're there. There are interference fits, and they work well. So, I actually, hang on. Here it is. Look at this little guy. I'll print it out, and with the letters that go through. Whoops. And there we go. Cool. XYZ. Problem is, so Z looks right when looking forward, but it's backward the other way. So what I think I'm going to do is I haven't fully thought this through yet, of course, because why would I? What I want to do is I want to put a separate sketch of the same Z profile of a correctly oriented Z on the backside, and then I'm going to loft between the two, so it still goes through, and you can still see daylight through it, but there's loft screwiness, so it looks weird and cool, and hopefully that will be weird and cool. So I think what's going to end up happening is it's going to look like the points are going from sort of top to bottom, but it should still be easy to figure out. So that's what I'm hoping anyway. The really big thing that changes is when I go back to this cut through here, this is no longer consistent across all of them. And I think, yeah, the text cut sketch, if we come take a look at this, that originally controls just down to the XYN. No, XYZ. Although XYN would make sense if you were doing like coordinates, I suppose. So XY, nth point, whatever. But what I want to do is, oh my goodness, I've just realized this won't work the way that this is. So first thing we're going to do, configure this feature, suppress it in the Z configuration. Apply, that's fine. Now we have to make a whole new folder. Well, you know, let's suppress this guy too, because that'll be, all the stuff for the regular X and Y symmetrical, that are symmetrical cuts, will be suppressed. And this will all be custom, all custom stuff for making the Z work nicely. So, I should figure out actually, whoops, hang on. Let's unsuppress this first. I want to know, this offset ends up being about 1.2 millimeters, so that's roughly what I should expect for, and it looks like it's just barely in X and it's mostly in Y. So we have to offset the sketch that we're starting with for Z to be, oh, and I do have to have a middle profile too. What am I going to do? I don't know. It's going to be a lot of winging it, so. Z doesn't have anything in it anymore. So we're going to add new sketch on this front plane. Actually, I think I need to unsuppress this guy, even. Because I need to have it visible for controlling and lining up so that the text lines up in the same place. So, new sketch, this plane. Ooh, here's something clever I can do. Let's just convert the original Z. Well, let me do that. Doesn't seem to want to. That's me clicking a Z and it's not doing anything, so we're just gonna have to copy the original line, I suppose. Make that instruction, then add some text to it. So it's gonna be Z, not using the document font. You're using, oh, what was it? It was, I think, Arial rounded empty bold. Then middle, flip things up the other way, and all this flipping around. And I don't remember how tall this is, so I'm gonna have to go back and check. Exit sketch. That'll be good enough for now. We can work with that. How tall is this guy? So that circle is 17. Oh, and it's 80% within the characters too. And height is 14 for some reason. Sounds like something I'd do. And there's an extra point floating around down here because the text object. Have to align that with the origin. So let's grab this guy, make it 80% width, and font up to 14 millimeters. Cool. Okay. Now that's going to be weird. Offset 1.2. I have no idea if it's going to cleanly offset the text. Do I have to convert it to splines, maybe? Weird. I suppose I could use midplane draft. I could totally use midplane draft. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use midplane draft in that face, and it's gonna look extra weird, and it's gonna look just super jacked up. So Z, front Z sketch. And then we will do another sketch on the back plane. And we're gonna convert this line as we did before. Add some text. Z on this curve. Don't use the document font because we want to get weird with it. There we go, rounded, empty bold, 14 millimeters. And it's still upside down and backwards by default. Thanks, SolidWorks. Cool. Okay, so we got this original core sketch, which we no longer need. This is now the backseat sketch. Oop, and it's still not fully defined. That's what the little minus there is for. Fix that by quickly dragging this point that suddenly exists here and putting it back in the origin. And fully defined. Alright. So now, I just have to hope that these are going to loft together well. Yeah! No, that doesn't work, because that's going to put a bit in the middle there, isn't it? Because it would produce self-intersecting geometry. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to do weird 3D sketch cursed magic. Let's do a plane for, whoops, hang on. Let's hide this body for a sec. Our goal is to get a continuous body through here that doesn't self-intersect, that takes one Z that's forward and turns it into a Z that's backward. Which is just gonna look so goofy. 3D sketch. Oh, we're already in one. Plane. Why doesn't it want to let me? Okay, I'm just gonna wing this. No, I can't even go to the points. Okay, hang on. I think I do need to show the body. I'm gonna make 3D sketch subplanes, which is what this funny little icon that doesn't look like a regular, like if you go look at, where is it? It's in here somewhere. Features, reference geometry. Nope, that just wants to give me a mate reference. Hang on. It is important to show what it is that I'm talking about. In reference geometry, you can get a normal plane, which has this icon with the blue in it, or over here in search, I think it might also give it to you. You can have a 3D sketch plane that lets you do 2D sketching operations inside of a 3D sketch. Super duper handy if you're trying to do really anything, because you shouldn't ever be sketching entirely with a 3D sketch, because you're just going to break stuff. It breaks all the time. Okay, so need to figure out how to make a 3D sketch, and I need to make it, I need to convert this text into it. I need to convert these text lines. Is that just not a thing I can do? Convert 3D, convert text into 3D sketch. 3D sketch. Okay, this window's too narrow. Oh, dissolving sketch text into separate sketch entities. I'm just gonna skip real fast through this. Okay, right-click, dissolve sketch text. So I have to exit this sketch, and I gotta go into these two. Dissolve sketch text. Is that going to make everything undefined? Yes. Okay. So now I need to select everything in here. I really shouldn't fix it, but I think I'm going to. Select a chain, right click, fix. That's just it. It just is what it is. The alternative of trying to figure out how to make that work is not something I would at all look forward to. So chain, right click, dissolve sketch text, and where'd it go? Oh, it's already dissolved. No, we're fixing it now. Cool. Okay, so now we have two sketches we can actually use. Now we can hide this guy. Now we can do 3D sketch. And we are currently listening to This Is Not the End by True Cuckoo, which is weird. Kind of fun. Okay, two planes. I want to make a plane from this line and this line. And I want to make another plane from this line and this line. And then on those two planes, I'm going to make two arcs of just some radius, and they're going to clear each other. Oops. Double click the plane to activate it. Or I thought it would activate it. There we go. 3-point arc. So now we are still in the 3D sketch. We make these two. Why won't you let me make them equal? Oh, because I'm not in the 3D sketch. Who would have guessed? Okay, so I can go center to center, which isn't super helpful. What I'm going to do instead is you can always place points at the midpoints of arcs. And since that's the spot I care about, I'm just going to place 2 points between those. And then I can dimension right there. So we'll call that 3 millimeters for now. Just hop out of the sketch for a sec. Normally the spacing between these two lines is, it's given me an angle for some reason. So it's not a uniform spacing. 2.2 millimeters roughly. I wonder if that's consistent. 2.1 up here. Down at the bottom, it is also 2.1, so up here at the top, 2.15 and 2.18. So we're going to go with probably 2.15 as a sane distance between these two. 2.15. Cool. Call that good. It still thinks they're undefined. Whoops. What? Oh, that's just coincident, not... Why isn't that midpoint? Why can't I make things at the midpoint of things? Hang on. Alright, we're gonna be a little more brutish about this, I think. So these two already equal. Split entities... Actually, segment is what we really want, because then I want one sketch point in the middle of that, and it'll make it in the center point. Because segment turns any chain you give it. I think it's per... I think segment is just for individual entities. So you could do it for like a spline or something and you get a whole bunch of equally spaced bits, but if you did it with a spline, it would be a big gross mess, so don't do that. But what you can do, yeah, there we go. Those points are now no longer moving around. So if I dimension between them, say 2.2 millimeters or even 2.15, they suddenly are undefined. Or underdefined, rather. Rebuild doesn't fix that. Why are they defined at 2... Why? What? What? That was just defined. 2.2? 3? That's weird. It doesn't want to define anything for me. Let's see, somewhere in here there's a tool. Prepare sketch? No, that's not going to work. What am I thinking of? There's a tool to auto-define your stuff. Cannot drag. Cannot drag is fixed. Cannot drag is fixed. Cannot drag is fixed. No, that's not fixed, bud. Okay. So clearly the sketch points thing didn't work. Oh, that's right. There is a difference I neglected to mention between segmenting by sketch points and sketch segments. Sketch points will just give you points along the line that you select. Sketch segments will segment your line and turn it into multiple individual lines, which is different behavior and important. So now we can select between these 2 points, which are guaranteed in the midpoint. Say 2. Pick this guy, make that equal. Oh, jeez. Equal length. Okay. If I make those equal, yes. Okay. Now it's actually fully defined. I'm not going to pretend that what I'm doing isn't extremely weird, so this isn't something that anyone should ever normally run into. But now, crossed Z guide 3D sketch. Seems straightforward enough. And now we try and do a weird loft, which is where it's going to get really weird. So this profile to this profile. And guide curves, I want this guy and his buddy. I want this guy and his buddy. And guide curves should be to next sharp. Yeah! Alright. So, now I'm going to show this body. And I'm going to get rid of that loft. Actually, can I just turn it into a loft cut? I don't really want to combine the body because that's a little bit gross rather than... yeah, we're going to do this properly. And I think I'm going to hide these 3D sketch planes because they're annoying. I think it's tab is my current hotkey to hide those. Okay, maybe I can't hide 3D sketch planes. That's fine. I'll just deal. So, lofted cut. Going from this sketch to this sketch with guide curves of this guy. Whoops, hang on. Seems to have done something funny. Oh, no, there we go. Okay. You know what, I'm kind of curious what this looks like if I just let that do its own thing. Yep, looks super weird. as expected. But instead of to next guide, if we do just... Actually, what's to next edge versus to next sharp? I think I want just to next edge. That seems a little safer, in my mind. Yeah. Okay. Z lofted cut. Z-axis label lofted cut. B, most specific. And things get really weird and sharp up here, which is just great fun. So I'm going to add a plane. Whoops, not that. It was automatically picking the regular plane instead of the other kind of plane. So hop out of this 3D sketch, do a regular plane between this guy and this guy. And it defaults when it picks two planes, or when you pick two planes as a reference in a plane, to grab the midplane between the two. It does this even if they're not parallel as well, so you can pick two planes. I'll just do a quick example actually. If you pick this plane and this plane, it'll automatically pick a midplane between those two, because two planes, you can easily define a line, and then it's not at all computationally difficult to find a plane between those. Okay, draft. So let's apply draft with a neutral plane with this guy, let's say 10 degrees, faces to draft, all these ones. And we're gonna watch it break horribly when I say okay. What? Looks about right. Happens if I do 5 degrees. Nope, still super messed up. Okay. Other thing I can do. Split line. Using an intersection between this plane and then all these faces, I can divvy this stuff up. Whoops. Oh, whoops, I picked the wrong. I need to pick the pink one has to be, the first one that I pick has to be the divisor. And then we'll just select all these guys. Make sure I'm not missing anything. It does seem to have done draft right from that mid spot, which is unsurprising, but also a little annoying. Alright. Draft, neutral plane, this guy, faces, all around me are familiar faces. Oops. I kind of wish it had a feature to just pick all the faces from the last operation. Like anything the last operation created, work with that. So, parting line, step draft, let's see what that does. Nope, does the same thing. And it's also not doing a bidirectional draft, which is inconvenient for me. Maybe if I offset them first, now that I have the... I really have made a pickle for myself. Oh, that's right, because draft isn't going to... Oh, parting line. Direction of pull. Parting lines. Am I supposed to literally select edges? Yes, I am. Interesting. I've not worked with this mold stuff too much before, so there is a good chance this will blow up in my face. Yep, did the same thing. Always trims off all my weird, funky geometry rather than giving me anything fun. You know, I don't actually know how big this draft angle is, so 15 degrees is what I should be aiming for. And every time I try that, gives me something that is not ostensibly what I asked for, which is unfortunate. I mean, to be fair, I'm asking for a really ridiculous thing. I think I'm just gonna let this one sit. I need to spend some time offline thinking about this because this problem's really complicated. It's gonna require lots of really silly surfacing, and I've got to rotate faces about straight lines, or maybe even lines that aren't straight. I don't know that this line is straight. Yeah, that's an arc. Or it thinks it's an arc anyway. And some of these faces can't even be rotated, so... I mean, really the only ones that I'm worried about are the ones here, which I'm now realizing I could totally do. So, draft, don't parting line, hang on, just do the outside edges. Oops. Just want to do these edges. That's weird. That one didn't give it an edge. Odd. Oh, you know what? I could also just do neutral plane. Let's see what that does. See if it breaks things. It does. It breaks things a lot. What happens if I move face, rotate about an edge that is not a line? And SOLIDWORKS doesn't even want to give me the time of day for that, so... Oh, wait, that's because I'm picking faces. Smart. Okay, let's pick this edge, and I want to rotate this face. I want to rotate it 15 degrees. Is it going the wrong direction? Negative 15 degrees? Nope, that rotated it into the future. So if I do just 15, it does nothing. Very cool. Very, very cool. Does it work if I do only 15 degrees, maybe? I'm surprised it thinks that's a line, though. I guess maybe just because it's bordered by splined faces, it throws a hissy fit. Yeah. I think this problem is probably too complicated to solve on stream, so I'm going to save this and come back and think about it later, because I already have a version that is entirely functional, except for the fact that there was a backward Z on one side, and I would like that to be a regular forward Z. And so I'm inventing lots of contrived ways to solve that. So, instead, the other thing that I wanted to work on, I have sitting, well, I can even pull up the picture too. I have sitting in the end of my monitor stand this this key tray, basically. Just an everyday carry tray to hold my wallet and my Leatherman. And it works well enough, but I don't really like how I designed it. I mean, I can even show, let's see, go to the properties here. I designed this back in September of last year, so it's still on an educational license, or rather, it was done on an educational license. I'm not super happy with the structure. I don't think it's a very efficient design, so I thought, I haven't sketched it up at all, so I guess really the best thing to do is just hop into it. I am going to have to pull dimensions from this one. Let's see, what's this? 15.53 and 40.4, or 15.33? That's what we're going to start with. So, actually, not the right plane. Well, yeah, from the right plane, because in my head, this part sits, I mean, that's how this part sits. I don't know why like on this one I drew it for some reason like the bar comes out this way, but relative to me, if I'm looking forward on at my monitors, the part goes off this way. So I always like to draw my parts in the way that I would see them, like if I set them down on a table and thought about how is this part normally oriented relative to the person who's interacting with it? I like to draw my parts that way, so it's very easy to just hit, like if I spin this into some weird orientation and zoom in and do some weird view, if I hit Control 7, it always takes me back to a view that's sensible and won't confuse anyone. Hopefully. We'll see about that. Did I just spy a missing chamfer? Nope, okay. I thought I was missing a chamfer back there, but I'd be really disappointed if I found that out 6 months after I designed the thing. Okay, right plane. Start with a center point arc. Just get that guy in there. Says realizing that maybe he should draw the thing he's gonna fit into it first, but nah, let's not do that. That makes sense. 40.4 and 15.33. Looks about right. Now I have calipers here that I'm going to use to measure the thickness of a wallet, which I hope somebody at some point in the future makes fun of me for that, because it's a wallet. It's not going to stay the same thickness. It's about 21.2 millimeters thick. If I squish it, it'll go down to less than 20. If I'm nice and friendly and loose with it, it's probably easily 25 millimeters, so an inch across. I want to have 2 buckets that... just offset. Let's just say 3 millimeter offset. Just start randomly kind of chopping stuff up. This is what I've done to myself because I haven't thought it out well enough beforehand. I just thought this morning, hey, I'd like a better key tray, and here we are. It's important that both items are retrievable from the just one hand retrievable. I can pull it out. I don't have to worry about the thing falling off. Because right now, I should actually... this lip isn't quite enough to keep it on there, so if I push too hard this way, the whole thing just falls off, which 2 out of 10, terrible design, don't recommend. So we're gonna... keeps wanting that to be tangent, doesn't it? I'd rather you not be tangent. So I'll make these 2 equal and vertical. Make that, I don't know, 1 millimeter. It's probably fine. Trim, that'll destroy the slot entity. It'll throw a fit at me. And I'll have to go and add a bunch of relations real quick. Tangent. Oh, is this... offset the slot? Is that gonna... Hey, cool. That just worked. Far better than it should have. Let's see. I want this thing to be... probably no more than about 30 millimeters long. So we'll start with that. Here's boss. We're gonna come right up to the top plane and just think for a sec. Okay, cavity that holds wallet. Whoops, I had picked the wrong plane. Top plane, okay. Cavity that holds wallet. It's gonna be roughly rectangular. Don't look too closely at that line that's not straight. Fix that. And I want it to contain my wallet, and I want it to have a cutout so that I can pull it out easily. So this has to be roughly 25 millimeters on the interior to be loose and easy to fit the thing. These want to be roughly collinear. We'll even make these 2 guys equal. Oops, hang on. Yeah, that's about right. And we want... I'll probably do the internal filleting later, just make this kind of a nice solid body for now. Let's see, how thick did I make this guy? 3 millimeters? I'll I'll just have to grab that dimension later. But I am going to fillet these two. Whoops. No, whoops, too big. This is good modeling music. Thirsty for a Stream by Otis McDonald. Thank you, Otis. So now I gotta make this the right length for how wide my wallet is. And it is 70 millimeters wide, so we'll go with 75. Maybe 72, tighten up just a little bit. Because it's not, my wallet's not gonna get wider in this dimension, but it could absolutely get wider in this dimension. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. I think everybody hopes for their wallet to get wider in that dimension. So we'll call this 72. And it'll place things in a weird location. Well, let's take a guess. Let's say that I want... There's a gap on the side of my wallet that is roughly 6 millimeters. So we're gonna make these guys 6 millimeters apart, or even a little wider than that, why not? Okay, this part shouldn't change shape anymore, it should be pretty much static. So now I just have to define the location. So we'll select chain, offset entities, reverse, cap ends with lines, which gives me nice lines there. And nothing wants to be construction, so that's pretty much all I need to do. Okay, drag this guy into there. Oh, because I defined this offset dimension, I do have to, well, we'll just go check it in the old drawing, or the old sketch. D3, sketch 3. Better yet, let's make this a, let's see, nominal thickness. Oops, gotta add quotes, because otherwise SOLIDWORKS complains. 3 millimeters. Now, I can change, I can go in here, I can say this, set this equal to nominal thickness. I'll show that a little slower the next one. This guy right here, equals key, gives you this drop down, variables, functions, file properties. Super handy if you don't want to type stuff or you're already working with the arrow keys. Global variables, nominal thickness, enter twice, and a check mark, and you're all good to go. Now exit out of that, and now I have to guess how deep my wallet is. This dimension appears to be just shy of 100, and I want this to be a little bit proud, I think. So we'll say that's 98 millimeters. We're gonna call this, we're gonna extend this down maybe 90. Extruded, oops, wrong direction. 90, yeah, just 90, not 98. Okay, so that's a really rough pocket. Good enough for now. Need to look at it and think about it for about 3 seconds before I do anything else. Like maybe I don't want that. Well, I think I do want that, actually. What happens if I fill it inside there? Does it break things? No, it does something very nice and kind. And just fillets out to that edge. That's beautiful. Well, at least I know that I don't have to worry about that for later. It'll be a nice, easy op to do, so. Same operation for Leatherman. It is roughly, let's see, just a little over 18, so I'm gonna go a little loose and say 19 millimeters across. It is at most, let's see, so 19 in this dimension. Oops, my hands are all in the way. 19 in this dimension, so, you know, not too thick. And in this dimension, it's roughly, at its widest point, is probably 38 overall if you try to do a rectangular fit to it, or try to do a bounding box. So I'm gonna go with probably 40, because it should have some room to play in there, I think. So, you know, this is actually about the same overall height. So, like, if we look, hang on, if I could measure things in a way that made it easy to see on camera. Yeah, that's about 100 millimeters long. So what I'm going to do is be lazy and make this profile sketch which inexplicably is telling me it's a multi-profile sketch. I mean, I'm going to make it a multi-profile sketch, but it didn't need to be one. Let's start with the vertical. Just do a tiny fillet, because if I make these fillets too large, then there's a good chance that the Leatherman just won't fit at all, which would be annoying and dumb, so I'm not going to do that. So, 19. Some things need to be made tangent because they're not playing nice. These two are already collinear, which is convenient. Oh, wait a minute. Where's that? Oh, it by default went tangent between these two. That's annoying. I'd rather those be collinear. And equal. And it's 40. We're going to make this dimension here pretty small. Probably just millimeters. This gap can be pretty big. Say, maybe even 10 millimeters? Yeah, that seems fine. Select a chain, offset entities, reverse, so it goes outside. We'll add the dimension and do the same thing as we did before. Equals global variables nominal thickness. Because I'm being lazy and defining things relative to existing stuff, we're going to pick this point and assume that I'm just never going to change that in the past, or I'm never going to change that in the future. Okay. Point, coincident, done. Cool. And boss extrude, for some reason, is telling me that it's not... Ah, there we go. Clear selections. If you do selected contours, it'll only do one contour, so you have to deselect that for it to give you all closed contours. So now we need some caps on these. I think I'm just going to do it the lazy way. Extruded boss from this plane. Control 6 to look at the bottom. Pick these two guys, convert entities. Draw an extra line across. You could also alternatively delete these lines here and then draw a new line, but then if you change that geometry in the future, I mean, I'm just going to haphazardly assume that I won't change this geometry in the future because that would break lots of things. So now you got to clear out all this gunk in the inside. Actually, I'll hide the model for a sec so that's more visible. When I converted that face, it converted all the exterior lines and I got the whole profile, but I don't want that because that would mean that it doesn't consider that a closed profile because there's now branches and chains. So I get rid of all that. Exit sketch. Need to see where the part is now. So this, I'm just going to let that be 90 for a sec. And what I can do, if you click on your feature, and I think it's Instant 3D that does that. Yeah, so this feature up here, Instant 3D. Pick a feature and it'll show you the dimensions that are attached to it. So this guy here equals, you can just pick it and make it your thickness and you're done. And you're done. It also seems to have decided to not merge the result, which is a little annoying. And that's a quick fix, just click the merge checkbox and you're good. Now I have to think about how do I want to... Oh, maybe I want these guys to have the same front face, but then that runs the risk of interfering with things back there, which is a little hairier, so I'd really rather not do that. We'll just do extruded cut from the front plane. And I'll do a big sort of from here up a little bit, and then just cut out a whole bunch of that. I do want this to be a regular fillet, or maybe I could do it ellipsoidal, but that's probably being a bit overkill. So we'll just draw some quick lines here. Make these two, whoops, hang on. Select these two lines, construction, equal, and now I can say that I want 25 millimeters, seems fine. And exit sketch, flip direction, through all, and now I get a wallet pocket. And, critically, it'll print upright nicely, which is very important, because otherwise it is unprintable. Yeah, let's repeat that. Cut, extrude, if I could spell, extruded cut. Front plane again, but this time from the back view, so we're moving relative to this construction. And up, something more like that. Draw some lines again. Make them equal, and make them blind, not blind, but through all, so that it always cuts through all the material. And there we go. Got two pockets. I don't think there's going to be enough play for it to fall out, but now that I look at it, there's a good chance that there is. So, let's maybe... Whoops, hang on. Let's call this the... clamp extrude. Seems good enough. This is the pocket extrude. This is the pocket floor extrude. This is the wallet pocket cutout. Seems fine. And Leatherman pocket cutout. Me trying to spell Polish by putting C's, J's, and K's in all my words. And this has a nice symmetry to it, too. Those two lining up looks nice. But, critically, the more that I look at this, the more that I'm worried that the Leatherman is just going to fall out the bottom. Nuts. I suppose I could make an ellipsoidal cutout on the wallet, but I really want it to be easy to pick up with a finger from the bottom. Design conundrums. And this will definitely need some material back here to stiffen that up. You know what? Let's just send it. How big is this thing? Evaluate mass props. 62 grams. Oh, well, that's at one... Hang on. Material. Edit material. Do I have anything like... Do I have PLA configured? Custom plastic. Mass density 1020. That's not really right. Custom materials, plastic. Okay, I just have my custom plastic, which isn't great. I'm gonna find probably a plastic that's nylon 101 seems close enough. Now I should be more careful than that. Pet's kind of dense. PMMA is pretty close. 1190. I'll just go with PMMA. That's gonna be close enough. Close. Okay, evaluate mass props. If I made this thing solid plastic, it would be at most 74 grams, which would cost me about $2.50. I'm willing to pay $2.50 if this is wrong. But also, that looks ugly, so I'm going to remove that. I'm fine with having the gray. Oh, I think we just ran out of music. Let's start it over. Ooh. I never saved this. I've been working on this for a while now. EDC stand. EDC monitor mount. Seems good enough. And it wouldn't be hard for me to add like little keyring holders onto the side of this too, so that is a must for sure. Yeah, I want these to be taller on the top, so we're gonna adjust that. This line is no longer equal length. That's gonna be 45. Whoops. I didn't remove the equal length properly. Or did I? Oh. Okay. 25. Looks better. I think I prefer defining this cutout as the width of the front. Well, maybe not. Yeah, I definitely would actually. Hang on. Let's define this way. All that. 15. Get rid of that bit there. That looks pretty good. And then we'll do the same thing over here on this pocket cutout. Remove the equal length relation. I don't mind having the 25 up there, but I definitely need more meat at the bottom, so let's try 50. Well, there's a little more there too. Maybe a little less back here. Yeah, that looks like something that my stuff won't fall out of, which is a property that I find pretty important. So, extruded boss. I'm gonna come back here to the front plane. Well, it's from the back side, but oop, I forgot. This is actually the right plane. Sketch on the right plane. And gotta pick the right one. Do I want to do an ellipse? Is that gonna look too stupid? It's gonna look kind of stupid, but maybe it could look cool. So we're gonna try this with an ellipse first. I don't know why it thinks those aren't fully defined. Yep, okay, those are fully defined. Sweet. And I forgot to define the rest of the outline, so we're gonna fix that. Whoops. Let's convert entities. Trim off all this bottom garbage. All this stuff. Make sure that I don't have any of it laying around. Get rid of this guy and this guy. And just extend these lines. Which isn't great and is probably bad practice, but that's fine. Extruded nominal thickness as before. Oh, I totally reflexively doing it in there after forgetting that I what do you mean it's got open and close contours? Did I forget something somewhere? Oh, yep, I did. Whoops. Edit sketch. And trim. Get rid of that extra line. Now, just one closed profile. All good. Extruded cut. Not extruded cut. What am I doing? Extruded boss. In the wrong direction. Variably. Cool. And merge result, please. But it didn't actually merge up with anything because the body was hidden. Very kind, thank you. Merge result, yes. There we go. That looks not half bad, all things considered. Yeah, let's do a bunch of fillets now. This is probably good enough to print, honestly, in its current form. So let's do probably 2 mils on the inside here. Just grab a whole bunch of these edges. We'll do select tangency to make sure that we grab everything. Oops, not that one though. Don't give me that one. Okay, I can't just pick, because it will try to give me tangent edges up there, which isn't nice. It's rude, really. More interior edges. Not quite printable yet. Needs 1 mil chamfer. All hail gratuitous chambers. need one more fillet under there to make sure that that's captured nicely. That edge, and we'll do like 10. I am a little worried that this is going to be too stiff to fit over, but I can always just slide it over the end this way, so. Ooh, and those edges, need to capture those. No sharp corner left behind. Okay, now, big exterior ones first. Just 1 millimeter. And I'm going to use the offset face chamfer tool, because that just tends to behave more nicely for me. Picking edges, oops. Well, actually, hang on. I do want everything on this back face. Yeah, we can pick faces here, honestly. It's kind of rare. I try to avoid picking faces when creating chamfers, but sometimes it is the right course of action. For example here. And if I pick this face, is it going to give me chamfers everywhere I want? Mostly. Pick this face, is it going to give me chamfers everywhere I want? It does! Oh, that's a rarity. Pick that up there to get the last one. Well, maybe I don't want to do that one. How's it look with just these chamfers? Looks pretty good. Probably printable in its current state. The question is, do I want to add anything else? Do I feel an urgent, inexplicable need to cut more things off? Am I worried that that's going to break? I am. I'm a little bit worried that that's going to break. I could bump these down to 0.6 and just go nuts chamfering the heck out of everything in there. I'm already going to need some support material to get that, so not much to be done there. I will admit, seeing this irks me a little bit, this big sort of flat face in the back, because one of the things I really don't like about this design is that it has a giant flat back piece, but advantage is this one, way easier to get to all the odds and ends, so. Oh, hey, I've been going for almost an hour now. Yeah, I think this is probably good enough to just send it, probably. Yeah, I can't think of any reason not to. I kind of wish that was going to be a more interesting design problem, but once I realized how simple the idea I had in my head was, it panned out pretty quickly, so. To the one person still watching, thank you for watching. 2 people watching this later down the line. If you found something interesting or wanted more detail somewhere, comment with a time point. Like and subscribe, I guess. Click the little bell so you get the notifications and whatnot. Yeah, I don't really have a whole bunch else clever to say. This probably isn't one of the designs that'll ever go up on Thingiverse because it's specific to a problem that I have, which is my wallet and my Leatherman on my monitor stand. I think this one's definitely going up on Thingiverse at some point. Whatever the completed version of this looks like is going to get the Thingiverse treatment, but I need to figure out how to make these work nicely first, which is going to be interesting, for sure. I think maybe there's something that can be done with a sweep tool. I don't know. Gonna need some thinking for sure. Yeah. Alright, well, thank you for watching. If you're watching late, like, subscribe, and so on and so forth. I don't really have a schedule for these, but if you have a part that you want designed or modeled, or you think you have something that I would be good at teaching or showing off, feel free to ping me. I'm always happy to make more videos and streams and that sort of thing. Yeah. Have a nice morning, afternoon, or night.